Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Chalowitz, and today's question is, what cryptocurrency would you choose to invest in? Now, diversification is always key, but that's later on when you have some actual capital. A lot of people want to invest a few $100s or a few $1,000s, and if that's all you have, then I'll redirect you. Links will be down in the description below on building an emergency fund and why you shouldn't invest $500 into cryptocurrency, but rather into yourself and your own education and get a job, and then later you can invest, because a few $100s at the end of the day is not much. With a job, you can probably earn that in a week, maybe even less. So once you get to the point where you have an emergency fund, you have money for the next few months, you are all good, you've researched what cryptocurrency is, what cryptocurrencies you might want to invest in, maybe you research stocks, maybe you have some actual experience investing in stocks and fintech and all that. This is the point where you decide, hey, what cryptocurrency is best for you? Do you like high risk? Do you like low risk? Do you want something that you just invest in and forget about for the next few years and hopefully it rises and that's that? Do you want to do day trading? Do you want to try something new like DeFi, but that's extremely high risk? Do you want to find the next alt that goes up 100x? This is going to be advice for the average Joe out there. What would I invest in? Bitcoin. 100%. Bitcoin 100% at first, then diversify a little bit, go into Ethereum, go into some of the other alts that are up at the top 20, top 50, and then start exploring projects that are based off of my research, what I really trust. Maybe I've met the team at a conference, maybe it's a privacy coin and I really like privacy coins, maybe I like stable coins, maybe I like security token offerings, maybe I like this category of this cryptocurrency, and then inside that category I find, okay, cool, these are the projects. This project I really align with, my values, it seems like it's doing really well, I can trust the team, all right, let's invest. But that's later on. I think if you only have a few $1,000s or even up to $10,000, put all of that into Bitcoin. If I put all of my money into Bitcoin instead of going into ICOs and all these riskier assets, I'd be sitting on well over $100,000 right now, maybe even $200,000. I'm done with crap coins. I'm done investing into high risk assets that there is a small chance, sure, one of them might go 100x, 1000x, but even if it does, at which point will you sell? Will you be able to time the ceiling? No, you won't be able to time it right. Many people don't, and even the best day traders sometimes lose out on opportunity cost. The simplest strategy sometimes makes you the most amount of money. So first of all, I would rather have all of my money in Bitcoin until, personally, I'd wait until it would be worth one Bitcoin or over. So currently one Bitcoin is $41,000. It might fall down in the future to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. I don't think it will ever fall back down to $3,000. It fell down to around 3,800 with a quick flash crash last year in March, when all of the stocks, everything, the entire economy was going through a flash crash. And then it recovered and went back up very quickly to 8,000. So I'm sure people who were at 8,000 and decided, hey, randomly, let's just put in buy orders at like 4,000. Why not? Oh, maybe I'll get a half off discount. I'm sure there were some people like that. And during this flash crash, after waiting months and months, they're like, oh my goodness, I just bought half off Bitcoin, and it recovered really quickly and they just doubled their money like that. So there might be small instances here and there, but don't count your luck on that. So right now we are in a bull run. Obviously, Bitcoin's going up. We don't know when it's going to end. It might end today, it might end tomorrow, it might end next year, it might end at 100K, 300K, who knows where it is. But it already has gone up a lot from $8,000, or if you want to count from $3,800, the lowest point of last year, $42,000. And if it hits $50,000, just hitting over 40K, if you bought at 4,000, that's more than 10x. The average investor is putting a couple grand into there. So suddenly you have enough money to buy 2 cars. But regardless of what the price of Bitcoin is, there's a few strategies. My strategy would be this. I'm tired of trying to time the markets. I'm tired of investing in crap coins. I'm tired of basically waiting for the right opportunity and figuring out which altcoin is going to pump me up to the sky. No, I don't want to deal with that. I want to take out a certain percentage of my income. Once I have a stable income this year, later on, probably in 6 months, I'll take out 10 to 15% of my money automatically, and I'll buy Bitcoin every single month. And regardless of whether the price is going up or the price is going down, it's even better to buy in a bear market. When we get into a bear market, whether that's next year, a few years from now, however long this will take, the first few months of the bear market, I'll be buying like normal. And then as soon as the price continues to drop and people's hopes get down, when the markets are blood red, then it's time to buy as much as I can. Double that. Maybe get up to 20% of my income, maybe 25% if I'm able to save up a lot of money. But I will never overextend myself. I will never buy much more than I can afford to lose. And at the end of each month, at maximum, I'm going to be purchasing a few $100s per month. But on average, it's probably going to be 200, 300, whatever, something like that. And then if I would reach that one Bitcoin, then anything else above that, the 10, 15, 20% of my income would go into Ethereum next. And then I wait for a full Ethereum, which is right now $1,200, it's $1,300. I'd get a few Ethereum because it's obviously smaller. And then whatever limit I'd set for myself, whether it's 10 Ethereum, 5 Ethereum, a few Ethereum. Once I'd surpass that, I go down on my list. What can I pick out of the top 20 that I can identify with? Well, I like Monero, I like privacy coins, I really do. So maybe I'd get some Monero, maybe I'd get some Litecoin, maybe I'd get some Ripple. I believe that Ripple will come out of the SEC strong and it'll be fine. It recently had a pump, but I'd have to really look in and research whether it's a good time to buy Ripple at that point. Bitcoin and Ethereum, but more so Bitcoin, you can just buy it automatically every single month and not care, because if you're in it for the long run, if you're going for 5, 10, 15 years from now is when you're going to cash out. Just looking at the past history, after another Bitcoin halving, at least give it 4 years. Usually after each Bitcoin halving, the price goes up, kind of like investing your money into the SPY ETF. Looking at the S&P 500 over the past 30 years, your money would have been growing, and there's also compound interest. You're beating inflation. Even if you're getting 10, 15% annually, that's still really good. With cryptocurrency, you might be getting a little bit more. Even factoring in the bear market. If you bought back in 2017, your average per the past 4 years, your average gain per year would be around 25%, which still is not bad at all. That beats out the SPI, that beats out almost everything. Unless you're a risk taker with Tesla stock and Moderna and all that stuff. And then once you'd have a sizable portfolio, it's a little bit diversified, but most of it is in Bitcoin, I would start looking into the top 100, top 200, some new projects that maybe I could put $500 towards or $1,000 towards, or whatever you'd feel comfortable, whatever amount that if you lost 90% of that, you'd be okay, or even 100%, because sometimes you could lose 100% in a really risky DeFi project. Sometimes you can 10x. If you did a shotgun approach and you bought 10 altcoins and almost all of them failed, but one did really, really great, you'd make up the losses for the rest of them. You'd still be profitable. But there is a limit. I do believe that if you have more than 20 coins, it could be 25, it could be 15. It doesn't have to be exact, but if you have around that much, you're set. You don't need to start investing in anything else, because then you get over diversified. Your attention is all over the place. You can't focus on what's going on. If you have too much and you're not following the news, maybe you missed a great time to buy or sell one of the coins that you're already holding. Because if you have 50 or 100 coins, there's no possible way you can go through every single one every single day and be on top of all the news. If you're constantly flipping all the altcoins, oh, let me get this one for that one, and oh, let's sell this and that. Opportunity cost. What if you just put that all into Bitcoin? What if you put that all into Ethereum? What if you put that all into Litecoin? What if you put that all into, let's say, Chainlink, right? Or Binance's coin, or whatever it would be. There might be just one good altcoin that you could park all your money in and you'd be able to ride it up. So I think the less coins you have, the better chances you'll have at keeping profit and keeping track of what's going on. So now let's go through why I would choose Bitcoin over Ethereum and over altcoins. At first, I'd be a Bitcoin maximalist, and then I'd diversify, because I do believe in some altcoins, but I also believe that most out of the 8,000, 9,000 projects are BS, and there's so many copycat clones. And yeah, in 50 years from now, there's only going to be a few really powerful cryptocurrencies, just like world currencies, and that's it. So Bitcoin has a lot of brand recognition. It has its history. It is the stablest out of the bunch. And institutional investors saw that. They took that. And most institutional investors over the past year, Grayscale, BlackRock, MicroStrategy, the Guggenheim Museum, all these billionaire boys, well, they started investing in Bitcoin heavily. And if you look at their portfolios, 80, 90% of that is Bitcoin. They might have a little bit of Ether, And some people bought XRP, some people got rid of XRP after the scandal, some people had a few altcoins, and that's it. They didn't have like 20, 30, 50 coins. No. They had mainly Bitcoin. Some only had only Bitcoin, and that's it. Others had only Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just a little bit, like 5%, 10% Ethereum. And that's okay. So if you look at these institutional investors with billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe they're onto something. Maybe they chose that because of the history, the brand recognition, the media, the mass marketing of Bitcoin. Ethereum doesn't get the same treatment. Ethereum's great in its own regard. So let me give you a comparison. Bitcoin and Ether. First of all, price isn't only determined by usefulness, it's determined by other things as well. For example, aluminum and steel, they're great, they're super useful, but gold and diamonds, they're super pretty, yay, and they're worth a lot more than aluminum and steel. Ethereum, because of the nature of its project, is still a work in progress. It's not finished. Bitcoin's finished. Satoshi, he could be deceased for all we know, and that's okay. So if you take an analogy, Bitcoin could be gold, right? Could be the digital gold. Ethereum could be the digital steel. Steel is more used than gold. You have a lot of Ethereum dApps. You had a lot of ICO tokens. You had a lot of ICO tokens that use ERC20. You can't really do applications on Bitcoins. You just can't do that. You can use Bitcoin for projects and come up with a way to use it, but Ethereum's a lot more useful and it's a lot faster and it has a lot of stuff that's technically better than Bitcoin. But besides that, most people would choose Bitcoin because they heard about it. It has been around for a longer time. It's more stable. It has that high price, makes you think like Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett style. Bitcoin is the better storage of value because it's easier to store. There's no risk of inflation, right? Ethereum has this problem with inflation. There's only 21 billion Bitcoins. You can't produce more Bitcoins. Ethereum has no ceiling. It's going to keep going up and up and up. And then there's no hard cap. And there's also Ethereum network switch from proof of work to proof of systems. Then you also have Ethereum staking, people who want to protect their Ethereum wallet. So you've got a lot going on with Ethereum. But in the case of Bitcoin, the random average Joe can just buy Bitcoin, store it on cold storage wallet, forget about it for a few years, go offline, come back. Oh, went up in price, great. Obviously, it's not going to go up in price like raw to $1 trillion and people are going to be like, whoa, as the early investors in Bitcoin did if you bought in 2012 and you woke up in 2017. But you still wake up with, hey, maybe I doubled my money. Hey, maybe I tripled my money. If they waited 5, 10 years and they were investing a sizable amount and with compound interest, hey, that's always something, right? There's a lot of altcoins out there that are great. They're useful, super nice, right? There's no way that Bitcoin would add the new features of these cryptocurrencies, these altcoins. Technically, you could with side chains, and there's hard forks, and all right, like Bcash, well, okay, great. You can't rule it out, but there's a strong possibility that some entrepreneur would just basically create the service that altcoin's proposing based on Bitcoin. They'd have a much larger potential user base to start off with. They'd have a lot more support, and the support network's greater. The barrier of entry would be less, the user base more, and in the end, people would just prefer Bitcoin than any other altcoin. When you're competing with Bitcoin, it's not just Bitcoin that you're competing with. It has its large user base. It has a development team. It has a mining operation, lots of miners all across the world. You're also competing against a very large ecosystem of startups based around Bitcoin. Open source projects, entrepreneurs, new companies. It's not to say that Ethereum is bad. It's not to say that XRP or these other altcoins. There's a bunch of altcoins that are crap coins, and we just have to acknowledge that. But sometimes simple is best. So what's my plan? Until I get to 1 BTC, whatever that amount will be, whether it's $40,000, by the time I start investing, and by the time I'm close to that amount, or whether it's $10,000 or $20,000 or $100,000, I'm going to go for that 1 Bitcoin because I'm not under the illusion that, whoa, I can 100x my money. Sure, there's opportunities that aren't present in Bitcoin. You're not going to 100x your money with Bitcoin. They might be present in other altcoins. But I would rather not risk it. Like I said earlier, if I wasn't a huge risk taker, I'd have over $100,000, $200,000. I lost over $150,000 because I mainly had Ethereum, and every single time there would be a cool ICO, I'd take some Ethereum, throw it at that project, throw it at that project, throw it at that project. Every time I get paid by a project, I'd ask for their tokens. Give me double the tokens, triple the tokens. I want your money. I was waiting for another Vibe Hub. I thought IndaHash would go up, and then IndaHash went down 99.9%. You don't have that with Bitcoin. You can't lose 99%. Of course, I sold off my bags, but still at a heavy loss. And because of that loss, I went into debt. So the main thing you can learn from me, if you are going to invest in riskier assets, only have it a few percent of your portfolio. That's it. If it does go up 100x, hey, that's great. That's fantastic. But there's a good chance you might also lose that money, and also set up limits. If you lost more than half of your money, sell at that point. You should have sold earlier. The only one that you can kind of be okay with that on is Bitcoin, because you know Bitcoin has a solid history. Some altcoin that was just produced yesterday has no history. You can't even trust the team, even if you trust them fully 100%, because they can't control the markets. They're not some grand wizard and they're just going to make it all magically, boom, go up. Crypto is affected by rumors. Crypto is affected by a lot of things, just like stocks are. It's psychology of these people. So stop trying to time the market. Just buy Bitcoin. That's it. All right. That was today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we shall see you guys tomorrow. So far, we're doing good on daily uploads. Bye.